we were just talking off camera that this season hasn't probably gone the way that you expected so far.
Yes.
What was your expectations going into it, and how quickly did that change for you?
On the heels of the reunion from last year, I knew I had to make amends with some people and try to move forward. And so coming into this new season, that was my goal, was to get people to see who I was. I felt like last year, the people didn't get to see kind of who I was or know my personality. It was more focused on things that were happening through the season. So I really wanted to come in and make friends with these women and be a part of this group of women, because that's what I really wanted to do.
And where did it kind of shift for you? Obviously, we seen the first episode, things with Emily didn't go as you expected, everything with the nanny and things like that. So where was the disconnect, do you feel?
I feel like I made a lot of rookie mistakes last year. And again, this is my first time doing something like this, my first time being a part of something so big. And so I'm regretful of those. And I went in thinking, okay, all of this stuff happened a year ago. I'm going to come in and apologize. And maybe I can get some apologies too, and we can try to move forward. And the things with Emily are very unfortunate. I just feel like a lot of this is me being held to a higher standard and a different set of rules than everybody else.
Why do you think that?
I don't know if it's a sophomore season thing, like a lot of people say, but I just think they don't know me, and they're always moving the goalpost of what's okay and what's not okay. Yeah.
So you're like, where do I kind of fit into all of this kind of?
True. I mean, I am trying to find my spot a lot. And I had Jen last year, and she was a great friend, and I don't know. I did my best.
Yeah. What stood out for me, I think early on, you said I had almost like an eat or be eaten attitude.
Yes.
Why did you feel like you were kind of like always maybe on defense mode? Do you feel like nobody really gave you the chance early on?
Well, I went into that reunion last year, just like, if I tell the truth, if I show up, if I try to make amends, it will be fine. And I was eaten alive. Yeah. So that was me going into this season. My second season is I've got to be more prepared, right? And like I said, I made some mistakes that I've definitely learned from that I cannot do again. But I just felt that need to almost be in this game with these women.
Sure. So what happened in the off season, pretty much, like from reunion to when shooting started? Obviously, like bloggers reaching out to you and things like that. So kind of give me the timeline of what happened for you.
Well, leaving the reunion and then the nanny reaching out to me, I did feel very vindicated. And any mother, I think, that's very protective of her child would feel that way. Yeah. And Kylie did the podcast with those girls. And when the nanny reached out, I said, I can't do anything with this. I'm not going to put this out. Kylie just went on this podcast. And a lot of the bloggers that reached out, a few of them, we have mutual friends that are not in the Bravo space. So I did feel very comfortable talking with them. And I guess that's just my nature, is I trust everybody. I think that's how I was raised. I think it's feeling like the only in a group of people growing up in a all-white, predominantly community. I'm always wanting to be a people pleaser and be kind and show kindness. And so I think that I took on a lot of these bloggers, as they are, content creators, and was like, oh, you're on my team. And if you know who I really am and you are talking about me, maybe you'll be a little bit kinder and softer about me.
Yeah. Do you ever feel like maybe they were using you in a way to get information at all?
Yes.
Do you feel like you were kind of like baited into
Of course.
saying anything? Okay.
I mean, hindsight's always 20/20, right? And looking back, I should have done better instead of being so gracious and kind with a lot of them. It's not a blanket statement. They're not all bad people,
no, of course
but
not.
I think a few of them, a few in particular, were definitely using me.
Yeah. Do you wish at that point maybe you reached out to some of the other women and were like, should I handle it this way? Or where were you kind of on terms with all of them following the reunion?
Well, I recently said to one of my castmates, I was very close with Jen.
Yeah.
And she had done this only a year more than I had, but this was her second year. I honestly wish I had somebody say, hey, we don't do that. Yeah. This is maybe a dangerous game you're playing. And I didn't have that. And I kind of wish I had had somebody that was more senior to tell me.
Sure. Yeah. Was there a particular thing a particular conversation with the blogger that you had that really did kind of blow up for you that you weren't expecting?
No, because I talked about myself and how I felt about things and how hard the season was, or easy or fun. I never said, I want to say this about this castmate. I want to dig in on this person. It was all talk about myself.
Sure.
And their names might have been brought up because we're a cast, but it's not like I was going out trying to bash the other women ever.
So were you expecting the type of reaction that you got when this information came forward?
No, I was not expecting it at all.
No.
And the girl that did come forward with that 90-second call we had on Instagram. I was actually consoling her. She was freaking out. And I said, I think you should take that post down of Tamara. I think for your mental health, you need to take it down. So I was being kind and I was offering her advice. Like, if she's coming after you, maybe you just take it down.
Sure. You're probably not the first housewife that has talked to people and content creators and things like that. But why do you feel like it was you that was so targeted?
I think these women were looking for anything to point out that I've done wrong. I think it was really well received. I'm so thankful for everybody being so kind. And I think that was like, okay, well, we're going to point out things she did wrong if she's so well received.
Yeah, no, you see your comment section. People are
very kind.
Very kind. Yeah. Were you expecting that type of reaction from people?
No. It was a very pleasant surprise. I'm very thankful. It was a little bit overwhelming, actually.
Was there ever a point where you told somebody, you know what, stop reaching out to me. I don't want to talk about this. I'm going to back off.
I think my new wave as of last fall is I just don't answer.
Okay.
You know, I can read it. I can see it. I just don't answer.
Right. Well, you kind of get caught up. Like you said, it was your rookie season. This is all new. And like, you know, you want to be kind. You want to make these connections and things like that. So you kind of get tripped up and kind of get caught up in it.
Yeah. And with the reunion, they had done so much digging that in your mind, you're like, oh, well, this is what we're doing, you know?
Right. Yeah.
And it was hard. I made some mistakes.
No, definitely. Do you feel like it turned into more of like defense mode rather than friendship? Like, because this is all about building friendships and you wanted to do that in the first episode. You create the hot pot. You want everybody to kind of come together. You want to build those friendships. But do you feel like at that point, there was no kind of coming back?
Goodness, I don't know. I did want to have a hot pot for everyone to get to know me a little bit more, and I phrased it wrong, I think, when I invited everybody.
Right.
But I just thought, if we're gonna be in this together, I want you to really get to know who I am and all that happened with my children and what was brought up at the reunion. I'm happy to share those things because those are real issues that women have that I'm very sympathetic to. But I wanted them to be shared in a kinder environment where it wasn't used against me, where it was me helping other women out or talking about my story. And it unfortunately wasn't. So I did want them to get to know me a little bit more.
And we have to talk about the Shannon of it all.
Okay.
You know, obviously you recorded her during the photo call and things like that. And, you know, there's some conflicting stories. You were on a Zoom call, then you were on with your husband. Walk me through that timeline of that day.
Sure. I was on a Zoom call for my business. My husband works with my business, so he was on the Zoom call.
Got it.
I was sitting in the makeup chair. We were in a shared space, me, Jen, and our makeup team and Bravo Digital, Bravo PR. And Shannon came in very late on a speakerphone. And I had to abruptly end my call because it was so loud. It was even in my ear pods. And my husband said, "What happened?" And I said, "This is what happened." And I voice noted him something and sent it to my husband. About a month later, I went to lunch with Alexis and Jen, and we were discussing the day, as you do. And we were all saying, Shannon's behavior was a little bit erratic, and it was everyone was talking about it on the set. And I said, "Oh my gosh, it was so crazy." I sent Matt a voice note of it. So we talked about it. It was never shared. It was never played. It was the three of us at lunch, and that was that.
Yeah. Now, how come Alexis told Heather that it was played? I think that's kind of maybe the disconnect too.
I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know her motive behind saying that because I never played it for her. I didn't even play it for my best friend. The only person that heard it is my husband, and he doesn't even remember what it says.
Why do you think Alexis said that? Or have you tried to get those answers from her at all?
No, I feel like you're playing a dangerous game with somebody who is now not in the group and going back and saying, why this, why this, why this? I'm going to let it go with her for right now.
Did you wish Jen stepped up for you a little bit more in that moment since she was at the lunch too?
Well, that's what I pointed out. I think people thought I was trying to throw her under the bus when really I was saying, you were there, back me up. You didn't hear it. We did talk about it. We took a photo that day. I have the photo. Like, you didn't hear it, so just back me up.
Yeah.
And she was like, I don't know what you're talking about. So that wasn't great. But
that wasn't great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did Alexis even ask you to listen to it at that lunch? No. Okay. Do you regret doing it at this point?
Of course I regret doing it. I should have never recorded Shannon. It was more like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. I'm going to tell my husband anyways. You know, my husband and I talk about everything.
Sure,
so I shouldn't have done it, but it happened, and I tried to apologize and move forward with Shannon.
Do you think that this was ever going to be a topic of conversation? Like when you were sitting down having that lunch, did anything be like, oh, maybe I should give Shannon a heads up about this just in case?
No, because at that point, you got to remember, this is April 2024.
Sure.
We were still filming. We had just come back from London from our cast trip. Shannon and I were not friends.
Right.
Everybody thinks that Shannon and I were really close and she was backing me up. We were not speaking because I was friends with Alexis. Yeah. Shannon and I didn't become friends until 8 months later.
Okay.
So it's not that I was doing this maliciously. It was just something that happened and a pattern of behavior. And I was like, Matt, here it is again.
Okay.
You know? So again, I shouldn't have done it. It was wrong, but I did. And I'm just trying to move forward with Shannon.
When you did become friends, did it ever cross your mind, or was that so far in the past you're like, I forgot about it?
It was so insignificant. You know, if it had been a really big deal, maybe my best friend would have heard it, or maybe, I don't know. But it was so flighty because it wasn't a big deal.
Yeah, it wasn't a big deal.
So I definitely didn't think of telling her because I didn't even remember it.
Did you expect the reaction that you got from Shannon at the party?
Where I tried to apologize to her?
Yes.
I did. I expected her to still be mad at me. I just didn't expect that big of a reaction.
Okay.
I expected her to come back and say, no, I'm hurt by you, I'm whatever. Because she's allowed to be mad, but she's just not allowed to be disrespectful.
Sure, yeah. Do you feel like the way that she raised her voice was just totally disrespectful for you?
I do, because I feel like there have been much worse things that have happened in this group of women than that.
Yeah. You know, a lot of people on social media are being like, oh, Shannon recorded some things, you know, in the past and things like that. So do you feel like it's a double standard when it comes to you?
I do. After that came out and she was on Watch What Happens Live and said, well, it was a producer cam. Kelly Dodd posted something that I was sent a lot that said, that's just not true. And even tagged the producers of that evening and said, that's just not true. So, you know, I wasn't there. I can't speak to how it happened, but we've all done it at some point. And I'm like the queen of voice memos. That's how my friends and I talk all day long. So, I mean, I guess it's just 2025 messaging.
So the wave of the messaging.
Yes.
Is there anything that you wish you handled differently in your apology that night? Because I think maybe some people were hung up on like, I apologize, but that type of, you know.
I know. I did have that talk with Shannon. She's like, stop using but. I just feel like I should have given context.
Okay.
Right? Because what happened in the situation is not black and white. So I wanted to give her context. This is what happened. I apologize, and this is why I did it.
Yeah.
You know? Whether that was wrong or right, I don't know, but.
Yeah. And then you leave the party, you run into Tamara.
Yes.
And then another, argument ensues. But Matt did not yell at her, so we're going to leave it at that.
Oh my God. You know, I had a martini or two, and I heard her say the next day, oh, he screamed at me. And I was like, Matt, did you scream at her? And he was like, no, but I don't remember. And also you're kind of in this like whirlwind. You don't really, you like black out.
Yeah,
so.
you know, I'm sure that you do.
Yeah.
Do you feel like Tamara, I think you may have said this, that Tamara is kind of the root of what caused all of this. Do you still believe that?
Well, I was just wondering why it was a convenient time to bring things up, to hold on to it for a year. Yeah. I think this could have been addressed way sooner and it could have been squashed. Again, I'm not excusing what I did, but I think that it could have been squashed in a totally different way and not conveniently brought up. Immediately when that happened, Shannon got up and Tamara and Heather went running after her. So it was like, it was just all felt very convenient.
Yeah.
You know?
Do you just feel like you had nobody on your side?
Yeah, I felt very alone on an island.
Alone on an island. Did you feel like that throughout the course of the season?
I did. I felt very outed, and it's a very familiar feeling for me. So it was very difficult, but yeah, I felt alone.
Yeah, why is it a similar feeling for you?
I don't know. I think, first of all, being the new person, being the first Asian American on Housewives, being the first Korean American and adoptee, that puts me in a different category, I think. And also, I grew up in a predominantly white community as the only Asian American. So this is just a very familiar feeling.
Very familiar feeling. Then you go to this lunch with Heather and Gina. And again, more information. Tamara says that you had lunch with Kiki.
Right.
You did, which you
I
did it too.
Yeah,
and
I did.
and then there was information that was brought to her about Tamara and Gretchen. That did not happen.
That did not happen. Kiki and I were at lunch for 45 minutes to an hour, maybe. And we talked about how I felt about the season. Again, it was literally about me. And she actually brought her friend who does post-edit for Bravo. So he had actually seen the finale episode before I had. So he was giving me information about how the finale looked for me. So I was like, oh, wow, you've seen it. So we were talking about how Matt was with Shannon in that moment when he and Shannon had a little think.
Yeah.
And so I was like, how was it? Because she came out and told me, oh, your husband attacked me, or whatever word she used. And he was like, your husband absolutely did not do that. He was very calm. So we were mostly talking about that. And then I had to run out and grab my son from school, and she bought my sushi because I had to run, and I thanked her for lunch after. And that was it.
And that was it. And that was it. You know, Heather and Gina both said, I want you to have that triumphant moment. Do you believe them in that moment? Did you believe that they really wanted to see you kind of have that triumphant moment?
I don't think so. I think it's hard for me to watch when they say those things to my face, and then behind my back or in confessional, they just talk very unkind about me.
Yeah. What was maybe something that really stood out to you that was particularly unkind?
I want to know less of Katie.
Yeah.
That was pretty hurtful.
That was pretty hurtful. Was there ever a moment throughout this time that you were like, I don't want to do this anymore? Like maybe my mental health is more important, my family is more important. I don't want to do this.
Sitting on that reunion stage, I said that.
Yeah.
And I said, you know, I don't know if I'll go back for a second season. When they called and asked me to do a second season, I thought, I'm going to do this for myself to prove that I'm strong enough to do this. And many times throughout the season, I would tell my husband, I can't do it. I can't do it. And I always thought that the hardest things for me that I've ever done have been the most rewarding. So I'm just going to keep doing it. I'm just going to keep pushing through. So it's not easy.
Do you still believe that after this season?
I do.
You do?
Yes. I feel like my husband and I discuss it all the time. I've learned more about myself in the last 2 years of doing this than my entire 41 years of existence.
Really?
So it's been really helpful.
What do you feel like is the biggest lesson that you've learned?
Gosh, I talk about it this season, how conflict kind of makes me shut down. And I have been with my husband for 10 years, and it doesn't happen because my husband isn't yelling and screaming at me. And I'm realizing that about myself dealing with these women, because that's what I went through with my first marriage. And again, I haven't addressed it because I haven't had to.
Sure.
You know, our house is very calm and it's full of love and no conflict. So I've learned that about myself, and I'm learning how to stick up for myself better and in a healthy way.
Sure. You know, you said this season that you spoke to Jen 10 times a day, that
Yeah.
she was a really good friend of yours. How does that kind of unravel this season?
I think you'll see that things change drastically for Jen and I.
Yeah. Because of the root of these issues and that she didn't kind of have your back?
Yeah, it's a few issues, I think. I think we just see things very differently.
Yeah. Did you find that she had a hard time trusting you after everything that happened?
I think that sometimes when you're surrounded by a bunch of people that are speaking and whispering in your ear a lot, you sometimes may believe that. You might come to believe that.
Did you ever imagine going into the season that it would kind of be like the takedown of Katie?
No.
No. You're like, I'm tired.
It's so sad.
Right?
No, I really was hoping that we could have these petty arguments about, I saw your dress in Neiman Marcus, but it would never be this deep. And it was just all around very, very hurtful.
Yeah. You know, I think everybody, when they saw the trailer, everybody's waiting for this lie detector moment.
Yeah.
What kind of context can you bring around that? Who brought in the lie detector test? And is this is this like a big climax moment?
The lie detector test was brought up at Emily's party.
Okay.
It was a Persian New Year party. And she said, in celebration of Persian New Year, I've hired a lie detector test. And I was like, I said in the moment, like, okay, let's do this. I can't wait. I'm being called a liar a lot, so I couldn't wait to show these women that I'm not lying.
Did this shift things even more so after this party? Is this really like a turning point in the season?
I think after the Persian New Year party, there is the biggest shift in the whole season.
Biggest shift in the whole season. You know, we did get some reporting that you were kind of blocked out of filming with the women. Is that true? And how did that make you feel?
It is true. I filmed a couple of scenes with a couple of different housewives one-on-one. I filmed a lot at home, but I did not do a scene with the whole cast after that.
How does that make you feel?
It's just very telling of where everyone is in their minds and kind of icing me out.
Yeah. Did you ever expect that to happen? Did you feel like there was always a path forward for you?
I thought there would be. And, you know, my name has been the topic of every single scene this season.
Sure.
So I thought, well, why would we take me out? But I am actually very appreciative a lot to the network for taking me out, because I think they saw it and I saw it as something that wasn't healthy for me to be in.
Okay. So this was a production decision, or was this like the girls decided this, you decided this? How did that
I think it was a combination.
It was a combination of everything. And so what was it like when they came to you and had that conversation with you?
I I think it was hard for all of us to figure out a place for me in this group of women after that Persian New Year party.
After the Persian New Year party. Wow. What did you feel leaving that Persian New Year party?
I was gutted. I was saying to my husband last night, I was like, thank you for letting me rot in bed for a few weeks while I was just so emotional about leaving.
Was it one person in particular, or was it a culmination of all the women kind of ganging up on you?
I think you'll see that it's not one person.
It's not one person. Do you feel like it was one person that said, maybe we can't film with Katie anymore?
I do think it came from one person that maybe set me up for something and made other people believe something untrue about me.
Okay, so where do we go from here? Is your time on The Housewives done? Would you even consider coming back? Are you going to be at the reunion? I feel like there's so many questions now.
Yeah, I would love to be at the reunion. Yeah. I'm going to be. They asked me to be.
Okay.
And at BravoCon, which I'm really excited about. I mean, you know, a lot of people are saying if Katie comes back, I won't. So, I mean, maybe we should just all read the comments and see who they want to come back.
Yeah. What is the question that you need to get answered at the reunion?
You know, I'm actually putting the reunion like off in a file folder in the back of my head because it's not soon, thankfully. And also it's just a very daunting thing. I don't think I need anything cleared up. I think I need some apologies.
You do. You feel like you're owed some serious apologies.
I am.
Yeah. Have you gotten any since the show has been airing?
No. Well, I take that back. I did get a very convenient text from one yesterday regarding a video that her and another castmate put out making fun of the Asian community. And it was very convenient because I'm doing press today, and it was signed "Warm Regards." So I did get one.
Okay. Do you feel like this is rooted in like any like racist undertones and things like that? Is that...
I think you know what you know.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're ignorant as to how things appear or sound to somebody that is a person of color.
Do you feel like the women weren't expecting the audience to be on your side?
100%.
100%. Yeah. And how do you feel like that is sitting for them?
I said very recently, I thought I would get more feedback from them as in, hey, this didn't look good. I could have handled it a different way. I'm sorry. It's been crickets.
It's been crickets. Wow. I mean, in those moments where you knew that you weren't filming with them, was there a particular time that you wanted to be with them to kind of clear the air, to kind of get your point across even more? Or were you at that point, you felt like it was like a lost game?
I asked to show up for the cast trip.
Okay.
And I wasn't allowed to, but I asked to show up because I wanted to clear some things up.
Yeah. And was that because of the girls said they didn't want you there?
I have no idea.
You have no idea. That's hard. That's really tough.
Yeah, it was very difficult.
Okay. And so, like I said before, we know you're going to be at the reunion. Would you even want to do this again?
You know, I'm just going to reserve that answer for seeing the season through.
Okay.
And getting through the reunion.
You
know, I'm just one step at a time.
Sure. I'll ask you again at BravoCon.
Yes, please. Ask me again November 14th, and then I'll tell you.
And then you'll tell me.
Yeah.
Well, you stuck it through, and I'm sure a lot of people didn't. Did you reach out to other housewives in different franchises, and did they give you any advice? Did you have any ally in all of this or outlet that you could talk to?
Yeah, I do talk to a couple of housewives from other franchises, and they are very helpful and very kind. But unfortunately, you know, it's a singular thing.
Yeah.
You know, nobody's experience is the same, even doing this show on the same cast. So it's kind of, I just had to just be with my family a lot.
Yeah.
You know.
Which friendship from this group do you miss the most?
Jen, for sure.
Yeah. Do you feel like you could maybe get back to some sort of friendship with her?
I hope so, because we were really good friends, and even our kids became friends. So I hope so.
Yeah. What do you feel like is the biggest misconception about you with this group?
That I'm a plotter and a planner, and I'm just spreading a web of lies with everyone. And I don't think I'm capable of that.
How's your family doing?
Great.
Yeah.
My family that's like the one thing that's constant. Is my family.
The kids are good?
Kids are great.
Yeah. Is everybody under, because I know this was a topic of conversation too, everybody being under the same roof.
Right.
How is that going?
Well, I have two that are in college.
Okay,
so
right.
One's a junior, one's a freshman. So, you know, all of them under one roof is very short-lived.
Okay.
My son, Max, we're still working out logistics of him moving with us full-time.
Okay.
And then Bandon's 8 and in 3rd grade and doing great.
And doing great. That's amazing. If you had any advice for a newcomer housewife coming into the franchise, what would you give them, knowing what you know now?
Oh, gosh. Are you sure you want to do it? Are you sure? And I will be your friend. You can actually trust me, you know?
Right.
I don't know. I think that Gina gave me some advice when I first joined, and I don't know how true it is for her, but she told me to just be authentically who you are and speak out loud, think out loud, I'm sorry. And I'm still learning to do that, but I think that's good advice.
And then finally, how are you processing all of this? Like, what do you do in your daily life to kind of process this? Because it feels like it's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
I have a really solid, amazing group of friends. My family is incredible. And, you know, I'm normal. I go to Trader Joe's, you know, I go to Costco where I order it, you know, like I just operate normally.
Yeah.
I'm glad I have a really good support system.
And are you watching? Do you tune in each week, or do you not want to? You're like, I lived it. I don't need to watch it.
I do a little bit of both. So I
Okay.
see a lot of clips online. I'm
Okay.
tagged in a lot of social media of people giving their commentary. And thankfully, a lot of it is very helpful for me. But I don't sit down and watch the episode through.
But we will see you through from now until the end of the season, just not in a group setting.
Yes.
Yes. All right.